Hey everyone, it's Pastor Dave from St. John in Woodbury, Minnesota, coming to you on this lovely Friday, April 17th. And as you can see in the background, and as you can also hear in the background, different noises coming as I film this at my home. It is nice and sunny outside, a little cool, about mid 40s here. But again, we thank the Lord for every day that He gives to us. And I do hope and pray that this week is wrapping up well for you. Maybe something fun to look forward to this weekend, or perhaps with the quarantine, the stay-at-home order, with everything going on, you might think the weekend is pretty much the same as the weekdays, so every day is the same. But either way, every day is a gift from God in both the good times, but also in these challenging times as well. And so as we wrap up the week, we're going to continue with our look at the book of Lamentations. So again, if you've been tracking along with these daily devotions, you'll know that we've been spending quite a bit of time in this short book, this book of Lamentations. Once again, the book was written during the time of the exile, when the people of God in Jerusalem and Judah were taken over by the Babylonians. They were punished for their sins, and God had threatened them about what would be coming unless they repented, unless they turned back to Him. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and so again, the Babylonians came, took over Jerusalem, took over Judah, and took the people off into exile. And in the time of that exile, we have this book, this 5-chapter book written, again called Lamentations, as the authors, the poets, lamented as they mourn, as they weep over their situation. And so we spent a lot of time in chapter 3. Today we move on to chapter 4. We'll spend a couple of these devotions in Lamentations chapter 4. And today we're going to look at the first couple of verses. I want to share these with you. And as I always do, I'll put a link into the video, so if you want to watch, read Lamentations 4 on your own, you can do that. And the first couple of verses here, I think, are again, very timely for us. It says, "How the gold has grown dim, how the pure gold is changed. The holy stones lie scattered at the head of every street. The precious sons of Zion, worth their weight in fine gold, how they are regarded as earthen pots, the work of a potter's hands." Now, obviously, in this context, they're lamenting how just the beauty and the majesty of Jerusalem, the beauty and majesty of the people of Jerusalem has been ruined, that the city has been destroyed, it's been ransacked, the people have been taken off into exile. But it makes us think of some of the other things that we're dealing with right now in this pandemic, especially the financial strains that we're facing. Obviously, I would say outside of the conversation about the spread of the virus, the impact it's had on the healthcare system, the impact that's had, the death toll that it's had. I would say second to those conversations has been the conversations regarding how this has impacted the economy. You look at the numbers, the number of unemployment claims has just skyrocketed. The number of businesses that have had to close down, whether temporarily or permanently, again, that's gone up. I know of a handful of people at St. John that have lost their jobs in the midst of all of this. There's so much uncertainty around the stock market, the housing market, what's going to be like. The government's sending out stimulus checks. And so again, there's all this concern about finances and the economy. And I think this is a good time. Again, these dark times, these troubling times, these times of just so much outside of our control, especially when it comes to our money, to our finances. It's just a wonderful reminder for us that at the end of the day, we own nothing. All right, so everything that we have is a gift from God. The Bible is very clear. It says God owns everything. He has all the silver, all the gold. Elsewhere in the Old Testament, it talks about how God owns a cattle on 1,000 hills. And so again, we talk about this idea of stewardship. And the stewardship idea is that we understand everything we have, all right? All the food that we have, all the money in the bank, our jobs, our clothing, literally everything that we have in this world belongs to God. And God is simply giving it to us to use during our time here. And so when we look at money, we look at the stock market, we look at finance, we look at our retirement accounts, we look at all these things, I think through that lens, we can have a lot more comfort. Because when there's so much uncertainty, there's so much unknown when it comes to our money, our finance, our economy, our houses, etc., 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 we can say, I don't have a lot of control over this, but God does. And He's promised to take care of me. He promised that He'll provide for my physical needs. And so, in one way or another, God will provide for me. He'll take care of my finances. He'll take care of my retirement account, whatever that looks like. He'll take care of my home in some way, shape, or form. And so I can trust him. It may not look the same as it's looked in the past, but when I understand that God is in control, that everything belongs to him, I can have confidence that I'll be just fine no matter what may happen. And so again, that's my hope, my prayer for you. That again, in the midst of so much insecurity, so much unknown, so much lack of control, that God says, I am in control. I'm going to take care of you, and you'll be fine. It might look different than it did in the past, but I will take care of you because you are my child and I love you. And so again, I pray that that gives you some hope again during these economic uncertain times, that you can cling to that hope, especially this weekend. So God bless you and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.